Finding peace in a world drowning in noise, distractions, and endless hustle feels like an impossible mission. Enter Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, Stoic philosopher, and a man whose wisdom transcends centuries. His journal, Meditations, isn't just ancient text, it's a survival guide for the modern soul. Today, we're unpacking 10 transformative Stoic lessons from Aurelius that will arm you with resilience, clarity, and unshakable calm. If you're tired of feeling overwhelmed, this is your blueprint to reclaim control. Let's dive in. Lesson 1. Stop obsessing over others' lives. The modern world is a carnival of comparison. Social media platforms have become digital coliseums where we battle for validation, measuring our self-worth against curated snapshots of others' lives. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor who ruled Rome during its zenith, saw this trap centuries ago. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. His words cut through the noise of our age, reminding us that time is our most precious currency, and wasting it on envy or gossip is a betrayal of our potential. Consider this. A 2023 study found that the average person spends 2.5 hours daily on social media, often spiraling into what psychologists call compare and despair. We fixate on a colleague's promotion, a friend's vacation, or a stranger's perfect relationship, blind to the irony that these glimpses are edited reels, not reality. Aurelius warned of this mental slavery. Don't waste your time on rumors, gossip, and other people's opinions. Your life is too short. The Stoic solution? Radical ownership of your attention. Imagine a world where you channel the energy spent scrolling into creating, learning, or connecting meaningfully. History's greatest innovators, from Leonardo da Vinci to Marie Curie, didn't achieve mastery by watching others. They honed their craft in solitude, indifferent to external applause. The lesson is clear. Your legacy isn't built in the echo chamber of others' lives, but in the quiet furnace of your effort. Lesson 2. Your reality is shaped by your perceptions. Stoicism's revolutionary idea is that suffering is optional. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it, wrote Aurelius. Modern neuroscience confirms this. Our brains don't react to events. They respond to the stories we tell about them. A traffic jam isn't inherently stressful. It's our narrative. I'll be late, this ruins everything, that ignites panic. This mindset shift isn't Pollyanna positivity. It's strategic reframing. When Elon Musk's first SpaceX rockets exploded, he famously said, "Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you're not innovating enough." Aurelius would have applauded this. Pain is inevitable, but victimhood is a choice. Lesson 3. Do less, but do it better. In an era of burnout and infinite distractions, Aurelius's command, "If you seek tranquility, do less," feels radical. But Stoic less isn't laziness, it's precision. The Pareto principle, 80% of results come from 20% of efforts, echoes this. Mastery requires pruning the trivial to focus on the essential. Warren Buffett, the billionaire investor, embodies this. He rejects 99% of opportunities, saying, "The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that successful people say no to almost everything." Similarly, Steve Jobs slashed Apple's product line to 4 core items upon his return, declaring, "Innovation is saying no to 1,000 things." Modern hustle culture glorifies busyness as a badge of honor. But Aurelius saw through this. "You're a little soul carrying a corpse," he wrote, mocking the obsession with external validation. True power lies not in doing more, but in doing what matters, relentlessly. Lesson 4. Memento mori. Death as your greatest motivator. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do. This Stoic meditation on mortality isn't morbid, it's liberating. Ancient Roman generals kept skulls on their desks. Samurai warriors wrote death poems. Steve Jobs told himself, "If today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do?" Psychologists call this existential urgency. Studies show that contemplating death sharpens priorities, reduces procrastination, and amplifies gratitude. When faced with a petty argument or a wasted afternoon, ask, "Is this how I'd spend my final day?" The answer is a compass. Aurelius didn't fear death. He saw it as life's ultimate accountability partner. In a culture obsessed with living your best life, Stoicism asks, what if best isn't about pleasure but purpose? The clock is ticking. What will you build with your borrowed time? Lesson 5. Turn obstacles into fuel. Life doesn't throw problems at you. It throws training material. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled an empire plagued by war, famine, and betrayal, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Imagine your greatest setback, a layoff, a breakup, a failure, as a dumbbell for your soul. Every rep of resilience makes you stronger. Think of Serena Williams. At 17, she was booed at the Indian Wells tournament amid racial taunts. She boycotted the event for 14 years, but used the pain to fuel 23 Grand Slam titles. "I've grown a thick skin," she said. That's Stoicism in action, transforming poison into power. But what about everyday struggles? Your coworker takes credit for your idea. Traffic steals an hour of your day. Your Wi-Fi crashes before a big meeting. Aurelius would say, this is why you're here, to practice. Annoyances aren't roadblocks, they're the road. The clerk who snaps at you, a chance to practice patience. The delayed flight, a moment to breathe. Modern life sells us comfort, but comfort breeds fragility. The Stoics trained like athletes for adversity. They visualized worst-case scenarios, premeditation malorum, to immunize themselves against panic. When you preemptively accept that plans will fail, people will disappoint, and chaos will strike, you stop fearing storms and start dancing in the rain. Lesson 6. Master your craft. Your why is non-negotiable. Marcus Aurelius didn't want to be emperor. He preferred philosophy and quiet study. But when duty called, he didn't whine. He leaned in. For 19 years, he ruled with grit, writing meditations by candlelight during military campaigns. His lesson? Purpose isn't about loving every moment. It's about showing up, even when you're exhausted, because your work matters. Compare this to today's hustle porn culture. We're told to monetize every hobby, optimize every second, and follow your passion, as if purpose is a fairy tale waiting to be discovered. The Stoics disagreed. Stop talking about what a good person should be. Be one, Aurelius wrote. Purpose isn't found, it's forged through daily acts of integrity. Take teachers. Most don't wake up buzzing with passion. They're tired, underpaid, and buried in paperwork. But they show up because a child's future depends on it. That's the Stoic purpose, doing what's right, not what's easy. Your why doesn't need to be grand. Maybe it's being a present parent, building a small business that employs your neighbors, or simply staying kind in a world that rewards cruelty. As long as your actions align with your values, you're living like a Stoic. Lesson 7. Cut toxicity without apology. Let's get real. Some people are emotional vampires. They drain your energy, gaslight your dreams, and leave you questioning your worth. Marcus Aurelius had these folks in his court: sycophants, schemers, and critics. His response? You don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you. We've normalized toxicity as drama or family baggage. But Stoicism teaches that boundaries aren't cruel, they're self-respect. Imagine your mental space as a sacred garden. Would you let someone trample your roses? Then why tolerate gossip, guilt trips, or gaslighting? Think of Taylor Swift. Early in her career, critics dismissed her as a teenage girl with a guitar. Instead of fighting them, she wrote Blank Space, mocking their stereotypes, and became a billionaire. Shake It Off isn't just a lyric, it's a Stoic survival tactic. This isn't about burning bridges. It's about recognizing that not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. As author Cheryl Strayed wrote, you don't have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Lesson 8. Peace is portable. Happiness isn't a location. We're conditioned to chase happiness like it's a destination. I'll be happy when I get the promotion, buy the house, lose 20 pounds. But Marcus Aurelius, who ruled an empire, warned, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within you. Modern research agrees. A Harvard study tracked 80,000 adults and found that after basic needs are met, income has zero impact on happiness. Yet we still grind ourselves into misery, chasing external validation. Stoic peace is portable. It's the barista who smiles while brewing coffee at 5 a.m., finding joy in the ritual. It's the single mom who savors bedtime stories after a 12-hour shift. It's you, choosing to laugh at a rainy picnic instead of rescheduling. Aurelius wrote his greatest work not in a palace but on battlefields. His secret? Nowhere can you find a more peaceful retreat than in your soul. You don't need a spa day or a tropical vacation, just the willingness to retreat inward and rediscover calm. Lesson 9. You're stronger than you think. Modernity has made us soft. We rage at slow Wi-Fi, crumble under criticism, and call adulting a victory. Meanwhile, Marcus Aurelius faced invasions, plagues, and betrayal, and still wrote, "The mind adapts and converts to its purposes the obstacle to our acting." Navy SEALs train under a principle called the 40% rule. When your mind says you're done, you're only 40% done. Stoics called this virtus, the relentless courage to keep going. Think of Malala Yousafzai. Shot by the Taliban at 15 for advocating girls' education, she said, "I don't want to be remembered as the girl who was shot. I want to be remembered as the girl who stood up." That's virtues. You don't need a near-death experience to tap this power. Next time you're overwhelmed, ask, what would the version of me who survived worse do right now? Spoiler, that version is already inside you. Lesson 10. Gratitude is your superpower. Gratitude isn't just a hashtag for Thanksgiving. To Stoics, it's a weapon against despair. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Science backs this. Grateful people have stronger immune systems, lower stress, and deeper relationships. But gratitude isn't passive, it's a daily rebellion against negativity. Think of Fred Rogers, host of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. He ended each episode saying, "I like you just the way you are." In a world obsessed with self-improvement, that's radical gratitude. You don't need a perfect life to practice this. Thank the barista who remembers your coffee order, the friend who texts, "How are you?" the fact that you woke up today. As Aurelius wrote, take full account of what excellencies you possess, and in gratitude remember how you'd crave them if you didn't have them. Stoicism isn't about stone-faced endurance, it's about finding fierce joy in the mess of life. Marcus Aurelius wasn't a saint, he was a flawed human who chose daily to rise above pettiness. So can you. Hit subscribe and the bell to join a community of modern Stoics. Drop a like below if you're ready to turn chaos into calm. Remember to live, not just exist.